Hey everybody, off the Mike Sports Network here. Big thing, no NBA today. We're gonna have a game 7 on Sunday, Denver and Oklahoma City. That's the last piece to the conference final puzzle. Minnesota, New York, and Indiana have all advanced. Speaking of Indiana, that's where I want to go with this. The WNBA season opened up this weekend, and we started off with a bang. Indiana and Chicago, the fever and the sky, which you know what that means. It means Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. And there is always something with these two. And today it was Caitlin Clark committing a traditional foul, it was maybe a little bit more of a hard foul, and Angel Reese taking it so personally and I think she was just barking at her the whole game. Listen, I appreciate what Angel Reese has kind of done for this game in terms of the women's game and, elevating herself and making herself a pop culture superstar. Um, but this has started to get really out of control because, yeah, I understand that Caitlin Clark is a lightning rod in terms of women's basketball, in terms of just how good she is and how popular she is. And, in some ways, very divisive, just given, the nature of how good she is and just, like the attention that she gets. But it has gotten to the point for me, and I noticed this and I've noticed this multiple times through the last season and through this season. Angel Reese, in a lot of ways, has kind of leached off of Caitlin Clark's popularity and is trying to just stay relevant in the WNBA because she has shown up to a lot of these games, like, wearing provocative clothing. And I understand that she's a woman, but then you get into it when, you get into it in a game and try to start something up. By the way, the Sky lost by like 35 points in this game. This was not competitive. And the most relevant thing from this game was Angel Reese started a skirmish with Caitlin Clark because Caitlin Clark tried to, prevent her from getting a layup, which is a normal basketball play. And listen, I'm not the biggest Caitlin Clark maniac like these Dave Portnoys of the world who want to create all this other stuff, but this was ridiculous. Like, Angel Reese does not have a leg to stand on. And how the WNBA called this a flagrant foul in 2025, that is a normal basketball play in the NBA. Like the NBA, that is just a foul. That's just a foul. Like Caitlin Clark even said it after the fact. It's a take foul. Like she didn't want to give up a layup. Yeah, maybe there was a little bit of a shove in the back at the end, but that's because she's trying to prevent somebody from scoring. And I'm watching this and I'm just like seeing universally, like, I'll say this. If that same thing happened to Caitlin Clark, all the Caitlin Clark fans would be losing their shit on it too. So this whole discussion has gotten really out of hand. But I think we've gotten to the point where a lot of this debate between Caitlin and Angel has gotten way out of hand. Caitlin is a way better basketball player and, just a much bigger star than Angel Reese has. And Angel Reese won a championship, and I give her credit for that at LSU. And she was a great college player. But in the WNBA, like it's been very clear early on that Caitlin, despite a really slow start and acclimating herself to the game, has really acclimated herself well. And when you have to resort to starting skirmishes and potentially starting to, because then Aaliyah Boston comes in and she's getting a technical foul, like Caitlin Clark getting a flagrant. If you go watch the video of that was nothing. I've been watching basketball my entire life over 30 years, and male or female, that is a normal basketball foul. And the fact that it got upgraded to a flagrant, the fact that it turned into this whole brouhaha, this whole Donnybrook, or I mean, like, you could come up with a female version of Donnybrook if you want, but it's just like, listen, I like what Angel Reese has done for the game, but it seems like some of this is she is desperately, desperately trying to catch up to Caitlin Clark because she's got a championship. I don't understand what her problem is because she thinks, okay, I won a championship. I beat you in the Final Four a couple years ago, that I'm better than you. Caitlin's the better basketball player. And good for you. You've got some popularity and you've done pretty well for yourself in Chicago. But what I took that as is like, yeah, there seems to be like some level of mutual respect. But when you're going at people when they're making normal basketball plays and trying to just prevent layups and stuff and try to prevent and trying to stop things from happening, and then your team is getting their butts kicked by 35 points, you really don't have a leg to stand on. You don't. And like I said, this isn't like something that has, just come up. This has been going on for about a year in the WNBA. Like Chicago and Indiana, it's great theater. I will give it that. But what I saw here today, in terms of the amount of nastiness and stuff, like in terms of what we've seen, like I remember Kennedy Carter last year just literally just away from the play, just flat out shoved Caitlin Clark. They were acting like this was actually that incident. She was making a play on the ball. She was trying to stop an easy score. And was it a little bit aggressive? Yeah. But was it a flagrant foul? No. Did Angel Reese have a reason to act out like that? No. Like, you're a basketball player. And especially considering the level of physicality that Caitlin Clark took last year, and some of it necessary, some of it unnecessary. I just was like, this got way out of control. And here's hoping that a lot of this sort of calms down, because I think Indiana is going to be really good this year. I really do. They made a lot of great changes within their coaching staff. Stephanie White's a fantastic coach. And then obviously you bring in Sophie Cunningham. DeWanna Bonner is a great player. Obviously you got Aaliyah Boston, who's been a fantastic player. I think Indiana could honestly win the whole damn thing this year. They're that good. And Caitlin, with the whole, off season really to acclimate herself to WNBA play, not coming straight out of college. The WNBA better get used to this, and they better, get used to the coverage of what's going to happen, and B, that I think Caitlin Clark could potentially lead the Indiana Fever to a championship this year. But this, in terms of what happened, especially when, you're talking about a near 40-point loss for Chicago, and then the biggest noteworthy play is just a basketball play. What are we doing? What are we doing? So, anyway, thanks so much for watching. We'll have a lot more coverage here. Obviously, NBA playoffs continuing on, and I got some wrestling takes coming on because, man, AEW fans are losing their minds too. Anyway, see you guys soon. Bye.